My name is Sushmita. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are going to discuss about the foreword of a book. So when it comes to foreword, we always think about whether a book requires a foreword, what is a foreword, and where should we place it in our book. So today we are going to discuss everything about foreword. So let's start. So what is foreword? Foreword is kind of an endorsement you can consider. It is a piece which is written by somebody else. So there is a very big misconception regarding foreword, introduction, preface, and these are different pieces of the front matter of the book. And these pieces are always confused with each other, but these have different purpose. So the same thing with foreword. Foreword is actually a piece which is the part of the front matter, but it is written by somebody else. It's kind of an endorsement piece for your book. You can consider that. So if you know a good friend who had been through your journey, who had been with you, so you can ask them to write a foreword for your book. And at the same time, if someone else asks you to write the foreword for their book, it's an amazing news. I mean, kudos to you. You have really inspired that person, because of which that person has decided to ask you to write the foreword. Congrats. It's an amazing addition for your resume as well. So the foreword comes under the front matter of the book. A book has basically three parts: the front matter, the mid body of the book, and the back matter. How you will recognize front matter is, you will see whenever you open a book, there are certain pages which is numbered in Roman numerals. Those parts are actually the front matter of the book. The page number really doesn't start until after the front matter. Front matter consists of many different elements, and I will take that up in our upcoming session sometime. But as of now, let's stick to foreword. So when you are asked to write someone's foreword, what are the things that you should consider? How you should write the foreword for somebody when they have asked you to do that? So the first and foremost thing that you should remember if you have been asked to write the foreword is, be very honest. Your opinion matters to that person, and that is the reason they have asked you to write foreword for their book. If someone has asked you to write the foreword of their book, they value your input, they value you as a person, and that is why it is very, very important for you to live up to that. I'm not asking that you really have to write the best of the English, the best of the grammars, and everything. No, that's not what I mean. When I say the foreword, that when you are writing for somebody, be honest and provide your genuine not feedback, I would say, provide your genuine writing for them, that what your opinion is about the book. So I have divided this into 5 very important categories so that it makes your life easy when you are writing the foreword for someone. Number 1, your relationship with the author. You have to establish this right in the beginning, that what is your relationship with the author and why you are capable enough to write the foreword. Maybe you had been on the journey with the author throughout their completion of the book, their manuscript, their journey, and probably you know the author personally for many, many years, and you might have talked about the book, you might have come across many different conversations with each other which you might want to include in the book. And this is the place. See, the foreword is, as I told earlier, it's, you have to consider it as if some kind of endorsement that you are doing on behalf of the author for their book. So from the beginning only, you have to make sure that you establish rapport with the reader so that they know who you are and your relationship with the author, so that they start right away trusting you from the beginning. Because if people don't trust you, they're not going to read you, right? So that is the first and foremost point you should keep in mind. You have to establish your relationship with the author right from the beginning. That is how you actually start to write a foreword for someone. And once you have done that, the second point is your opinion. As I said, be honest with your opinion. Just talk about the journey, about how everything came to life, and be very honest in your opinion. And of course, I will tell you to be constructive because that's what always is a win win game for everyone. The next point is talk about the connection, your connection with the story, and how the author's work has inspired you or has affected you in a positive way. Talk about that a bit, that how you got inspired, probably share a story. See, when it comes to forward, you have to consider it just like writing a letter to a friend, right? So that is how you have to consider when you are writing forward for someone else. The next point is try to mimic the story. See, the sole purpose of the forward is that somebody will read the book. Even before reading the book, they will look in the front matter, they will browse through it, and they will stumble upon the forward and try to read it and understand from somebody else's point of view that how this book is, what this book is about. So try to mimic the storyline of the book so that you do not deviate from what people are expecting as the content of the book. So try to mimic the storyline and try to talk in the same line as the whole book is about. If you have any question, I mean, sometime I'm sure you will not have the entire draft or the manuscript in front of you. And see, let's be real here. We don't have time all the time to read the entire manuscript before even starting to write. Talk to the author, talk to your friend, to ask them like, hey, what is this book about? What do you want your audience would like to know from me, which I would love to include. So talk to the author of the book who has written the book, or the writer whosoever has written the book. Talk to them one to one and try to grasp as much idea about what is the book about, and then use that particular information to write the forward. Last but not the least is signing off. See, as I said, forward is a piece where it's like you're writing a letter of recommendation for your friend and to a friend. So consider that, and at the end, some forwards definitely has a signature in it. So try to consider that as part and keep this in mind when writing it, that I am writing it for as a letter of recommendation for someone. It's okay. You don't have to be writing grammatically perfect. You don't have to be writing the bestest English language has ever seen. The phrase is no. The most important thing when it comes to forward is you got to be real. You got to show that it has been written by a real human being. So it's okay to be real when it comes to forward. Now you might be thinking about the length of forward. 1 to 2 page is a good number. So if I have to tell you like the numbers, number of words, it could be around between 700 to 1,000 word is a really good number for a forward. Don't try to write a long letter when it comes to forward, because see, you have to consider it this way. These are the front matter, and front matter people just browse through like this, and they just try to read few paragraphs, and if it is very big, they get overwhelmed. So the sole purpose of forward, preface, introduction is that you should not overwhelm your audience. They should get the idea and feels intrigued to buy the book. That is the sole purpose of these particular elements of the book. So when it comes to forward, don't make it very lengthy. As I said, the word count 700 to 1,000 is a good word count. Your book can have forward and may not have forward. Actually, a lot of fiction books doesn't have forward. You can go ahead with having a forward for your fiction book, but that's not recommended. But for non-fiction book, it is better to have a forward because it's kind of a letter of recommendation, right? And for non-fiction book, it serves its purpose better rather than a fiction book. But it is again not necessary. If you do not have a foreword, you don't need it. I mean, your book can either have a foreword or an introduction or a preface. These elements are not mandatory, all of them, but one of them. Mostly for nonfiction book, I have seen a lot of the book has introduction, and that's totally nice. Introduction is basically written by the author, and foreword is written by somebody else for the author. With that, we are done with today's session on foreword of a book. My name is Sushmita. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you with yet another session very soon.